mo ṣoríire o ẹlẹ́dàá mi mo dúpẹ́ o ríire o ẹlẹ́dàá mi ẹlẹ́dàá mi mo dúpẹ́ o. Hey, hey! So you heard the song. No, I'm not Yoruba. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi mo dìyẹ mú mi ò dọ̀bọ̀ jábọ́. So if you want to dance that song, just check my shorts. I just did the video. I like dancing, not dancing because I know how to dance, but that is a way to pray. That is a way to thank my God. God has been very faithful to my family this year 2024. I have so many things to thank God for. In fact, I concentrate on my testimonies, and because of that, I don't look at the other requests, because I know God has done these ones for me, will do other ones for me. Hello my viewers, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. So I just want us to reflect. I don't know, how have you seen your year so far from January till 28th of December? Are there things that God has done for you that you cannot but thank God? It will look like I'm now a motivational speaker or maybe a preacher. I am not, but my dear, this year, I don't know where to start. But one of the prayers I made, and one of the things I promised God was that if He comes through for me, if He comes through, if He sees me through, if He answers my prayer, I know He's capable of answering all, but there were specific ones I was like, God, if You can do it for me, I will keep sharing the testimony, I will keep dancing for You. And honestly, God is faithful. God is faithful. I have so many videos I want to post, and I don't want to carry those videos into year 2025. So I'm going to be posting videos back to back. Like I'm sure I have up to 10 or maybe 13 videos that I've not posted. I need to push them to YouTube. I really need to post them there. So that's just it. Guys, please thank God. No matter the situation, just thank God. God has been very faithful. In September 2023, I applied to 4 universities in Sweden and 1 university in Canada, which is where I am today. And it was as if when I applied, the hell was let loose on me. Honestly, I cannot explain what really happened that September. All I know was that I brought my son back from school, my children, and then I realized my last son was not feeling fine. I could tell from his face he wasn't really looking bright. And then I just tried to do the normal thing a mother should do, fed them, make sure he had his bath and all of that. I discovered he was running high temperature and all of that, and I thought it's something I could manage until after 10 in the night that I had to rush him to hospital, because I discovered that the temperature was going, as in it was having high fever and all of that. So I took him to the hospital. And then before then, a week before that day, I was not really feeling fine. I was having like waist pain that actually took me to hospital. It was my husband that took me to hospital, and then they did some tests and all of that. So they asked me to pick the results, and I was unable to pick the result because I think that was on a Friday. I could not. So I was like, okay, the next week I could go and pick it. Then with the drug they gave me, I started taking it, so I was feeling better, that kind of a thing. So as I took my son to hospital that evening, they did the little they could do and asked us to go, and they asked me to come the next morning. So the next morning, as I took him to hospital, we were to run some tests. I think that was the reason why there were some tests they wanted us to do. So I took him for those tests. So and I also reported that I needed to pick my results when it was our turn to see the doctor. So I went in with my son, and then when they finished seeing my son, so at that point in time I was telling the doctor, I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling very, very tired. The doctor was like, okay, should we send you for tests and all of that? I said, no, I think they have sent my result. I was actually here last week. I wasn't really feeling fine, that kind of a thing. So when the doctor checked it, the doctor said, what is really happening? Madam, you're anemic. I'm like, he said, madam, you're very, very anemic. Like, you're anemic. I'm like, I don't know. So what is it? He said, your PCV is 19. I was like, my PCV is 19. Are you serious? I was like, maybe that's just it. I don't know what really happened. So at that point in time, it was as if I was passing out. So what I did, because I'm an optometrist, so I work in a tertiary institution, but this was a private clinic where we are at this point in time. So why we usually go there, because of I want my children or myself to be attended to quickly, I usually go there instead of following protocols in my place of work, that kind of thing. So immediately it was as if I was passing out. I don't really know what was happening to me. So I don't. What just came to my mind was, call your doctor. Now, I have just one particular surgeon who has helped me with the delivery of my children, and the doctor happened to be the chief medical director at my place of work. So, and we have this connection, we have this relationship. The way that somebody moved from just being your doctor to like a family friend. That was how he is to us. So I just picked my phone and I typed his number. So as he picked, I told him, sir, I don't really know what is happening. It's as if I'm passing out. Please, just make sure nothing happens to me. And that is to tell you how bad it is. I'm actually summarizing that. So immediately the doctor heard it. Immediately the CMD heard it. He said, where are you? I told him where I was. He said, hand the phone to the doctor. And then I handed the phone to the doctor. So he now told the doctor, stabilize her and bring her back to the teaching hospital. And that was just it. And before I know it, my veins collapsed. They could not find my vein. Before I know, the nurses gathered and some few doctors gathered around me, as in they were checking. They were just trying to find my veins collapsed, everything. And even the nurses that were there were like, what happened? Well, you know, the one that brought your son to the hospital. How come you are not the one in emergency? You know, that kind of a thing. And before I know it, it was as if everybody was, when you're looking at people, they are no longer looking like a real image, It was as if shadow was cast around them. I don't really know. As if I was having diplopia, like things forming too and all of that. I don't know what was happening. I just managed again. I called my husband. And I told my husband, see what is going on. And my husband just left. Like I told you, on Friday I had issue. And he took me to hospital. And then by Monday he went back to his base. This thing happened on Tuesday evening, and then by Wednesday afternoon I was already having this issue that I was having. So I called him. Knowing somebody that just got to his base on Monday, and by Wednesday afternoon he was already receiving call to come back to where we are staying. So he just left immediately. And at that point in time, it was around after 2. And being from where he is to where we are living is like 8 hours, like that. So he doesn't even know where to start. He was so confused and all of that. His pastor told him, just get moving. Don't just wait till you get a direct car. Just move. Keep moving. Any bus that can take you to one station to the other, keep moving. Make sure you get to where your wife is. And that was just it. And at that point in time, when I called him, I think he started calling his friends where we are, so they can come and see me. And then I picked my phone again, and then I called one of my bosses, who is an ophthalmologist, Dr. Bename, thank you. And then I picked my phone again. I called my colleague. I'm an optometrist. My colleague were in the same office, and she has also been a good friend. All this one, I also called her. I said, Dr. K, they said my PCV is 19. And I don't know what is really going on with me. As if I'm passing out. Please, can you come? And that was just it. Meanwhile, all these things, I didn't plan it. My children were in the school. That morning I have 3 kids. So I took the other 2 to school and then brought the last one to the hospital just to do his test and every other day, and also to collect my own before all these things happened. So it was that my colleague that brought my children to school, that kind of a thing. If you see connection, and all of that. So before I knew, it was almost as if my hand was turning blue or everything. So as my husband's friends were coming, everyone was shouting, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, the blood, that kind of a thing. So immediately they saw it. The doctor said, no, they need to transfuse this lady. No, they need to transfuse this lady. I'm telling you the truth. And that was just it. And before I knew it, one of my husband's friends was screamed, and then they decided to transfuse me. And that was how they transfused me. So the next thing is, we need to know what is causing this. Why did you suddenly become anemic? But one thing I know before then is that I've been having heavy menstrual flow. Whenever it's time for me to menstruate, I menstruate so heavily, and it comes without waist pain, that kind of waist pain. So that was the only thing I could tell about myself. Now I have also a consultant who is a pediatrician. As a matter of fact, that private clinic where we were was the father's clinic. So as she got to the hospital, not because of me, she just came to do her normal consultation. They told her that I was in the hospital. She moved in immediately. And then she started asking me a question, what is going on? I said, I don't know. Well, do you have is there any history? They started asking me something. I said, I don't know. I don't know. You know, that kind of a thing. And that was just then the CMD came around and checked me, checked, asked me questions. And they said, now, just let them stabilize you. Come over to teaching hospital. And when I mean transfusion, I was transfused 4 pints of blood, like, you know, that kind of a thing. So in fact, and when they transfused the first one, and I discovered I could breathe well. You know, that kind of a thing. I was like, wow, I could breathe well. Thank you, Jesus. So on the bed where I was admitted, I was lying on that bed. My son was lying beside me because he's not feeling fine. Who will he stay with? And at about 2 a.m., my husband arrived. I said, you could see him. He was so scared. He just came and said, Mommy, what is going on? What happened? I said, I don't know. You know, that kind of a thing. So when they stabilized me, I think I stayed in that hospital for like 5 days. And in the course of that, so my husband started telling me, Kai, this is our dream of traveling abroad, particularly me, because it was my dream. I'm the one pushing the thing, you know, that kind of a thing. My husband like, are you sure you can make it? In fact, my husband started crying, started crying. He doesn't really understand these things, Now, what is the problem? Or what is the challenge? Since we've been married, that was in 2012. So from 2012 to 2024, it's 12 years we've been married. We've been living apart. Not that we have problem, we're enjoying our marriage, but we are 8 hours journey apart. So because of that, my husband usually comes once in 2 weeks and sometimes once in a month, depending on the demand from his job. You know, that kind of a thing. So, but the only thing is that we are committed to our marriage, we are committed to the family and all of that, and God has been helping us. And it has been a prayer point for us. You know, when you pray and pray and pray and you get so tired, you pray and you are almost accepting it to be your fate. That was the situation. I don't know whether you get it. You will not understand. It's a testimony. At some point I was almost losing it. I was like, what kind of thing is this? What kind of thing is this? And you know the way Nigeria is. I couldn't just leave my work and he couldn't just leave his work. And this is the challenge that you have when both spouses are kind of established. You have already gotten your job and everything before getting married. If you're not too careful, this kind of thing may really happen. But at that point in time, we never knew it was going to be like that. He thought, let's get married, I'll just get my transfer done. And then he was kind of trusting a certain person who was in a certain position to help make that transfer a reality. But the person was kind of, when you put your trust in man. So that was how he couldn't get that transfer. Like joke, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, until 12th year. That was that. Okay, as at that time it was the 11th year, that 2023. So my husband told me, Kai, honestly, you've been under stress, taking care of these children, do school runs, do this, do that. So he kept telling me, please, maybe we should just drop this admission stuff aside. Let's just drop it and concentrate on your health. My siblings, they were calling everybody, people that I knew about my intentions, like traveling out, and they were telling me, please, just leave it. Just leave it. Have you found yourself in a situation whereby nothing matters to you again? Like the only thing you're just thinking of, God, just heal me. That was the situation I found myself. I was like, God, just help me to come out of this thing. Please, just help me. Let me have my life. I was like, what is going on, bro? When I was discharged and then I came back home, I discovered that I was my normal self to resume back on Monday. And one of the reasons why I resumed work was like to make it official, so that maybe I could be given like 1 week off or that kind of a thing, so I can like kind of relax. And then at the same time to continue with other investigations. I went to see my doctor, and then they said I should do some scans. My dear, as I went to do those scans, they started giving me diagnosis. I don't know whether you find yourself in a situation whereby even when renowned consultants in the tertiary institution where I work had already said this is what you have. In me, I couldn't believe that. I had to start going to other hospitals to run that same test in other hospitals. I think that are good. Now I understand why you see people, they move from one hospital to another, from one hospital to another. That was my situation. It was as if I could not believe the report they gave me in teaching hospital. I had to start going to other hospitals, just to make sure I get the same whatever diagnosis, that kind of a thing. And then at the end of the day, I discovered it was almost the same thing. Oh, Jesus. I didn't know what to do. I said, okay, no problem. Thank you, Jesus. At least it's not cancer. And then I met my consultant, and then I was like, what is the next thing? And they said, the next thing is to remove my womb. Like, womb. Oh, I said, God, hey. I thought my plan is to have 6 children. When I told my husband said, okay, no problem. He now told me, Mommy, don't worry, the 3 we have is okay. Oh. God is so faithful. God mixed it for us. We have girl, we have boys. So on the set date that I was to do that surgery, my husband came back. We got prepared, packed my things, that kind of a thing. And we met the doctor just for them to tell me, oh yeah, now allocate me to the ward or whatever, that kind of a thing. But at this point in time, I've already allotted all my people, my pastors, everyone. Everybody, please stand in the gap for me. I don't know what is really happening in the realm of the spirit. Stand in the gap. Affliction shall not rise again, and that was just it. Everything they've listed out for me to buy, my dad, I bought it. Like, I am prepared. And then only for me to get to the clinic, and then the doctor said, now picked call the other senior, call the other person. And the next thing they told me, no, they won't be doing the hysterectomy that they thought they would be doing. My husband and I were looking at ourselves. I'm like, what happened now? We already set. He said, yes, except you just want to do it, we could do it, but I don't think there is need. Let's just do a biopsy. And that was how the whole thing was changed. I didn't do the hysterectomy again. It was biopsy that they did, and to the glory of God, it wasn't really cancerous. But that's where I'm going to leave that story for now. You get it? So I'd already taken leave. Hysterectomy is just like procedure of giving birth when you're doing cesarean section. The only thing in cesarean section is they bring out a baby for you. But in this very situation, they go remove your womb. You go back home, but it's still the same thing. You need time to heal and all of that. So I'd already taken leave, like, that kind of a thing. And that was how I didn't do that surgery. And then I came back home. I stayed for like 1 week. Something was like pushing me. I said, no, I can't give up. I can't give up on this dream. I picked my phone. Now, I'd already have done some certain things. Like, I think I've applied. It was just for references. So I just picked call. I started calling some of the professors that taught me when I did my master's in 2012, and I called them, that kind of a thing. And I wasn't really like comfortable with their responses. I had to go to their office, like, to meet them and all of that, and I was like, no. So do you know this kind of thing? While I was doing it, I was not scared of telling my husband, because even my siblings, I couldn't tell them. You know why? Because they would be like, why are you so bent on this? You're traveling abroad. Why are you so bent on doing it? See your health. Take care of yourself. You know that that kind of a thing. So it was along the line. And my husband can call. Jesus Christ. Call. He can call. That type of call that can be so annoying. He can call. So, and the way he calls, it's almost as if he's monitoring you. So somehow he will always know what you're doing. Because by the time he calls you, the next thing is, where are you? And he's very sensitive, and of course I can't lie. I had to tell him, see where I am. We're like, why now? You still want to continue? I said, okay, no problem. But how do you feel? I said, I'm fine. I don't want to give up on this whole thing. I'm fine. Let me just do the much I can. But if at the end of the day it doesn't work out, but let it be within me. I've done what I'm supposed to do. And that was just it. And then I met them, did all I supposed to do. I continued. In fact, one of my colleague in the office knew everything to some extent. So I'm sure in her mind that she'd be like, this girl, Kai, now what for you? That kind of a thing. My siblings, when I told them, they were like, Sister, that's what they call me, like, Sister Adama, this thing you are doing, what? Okay, no problem, God should just help you. And I continued, And when I applied, when I did it, and I just handed everything to God, So fast forward to March 2024, I got an email. The email I got was from Sweden. They've given me admission. Before I knew it, the second university gave me admission. Before I knew it, the third university gave me admission. Before I knew it, the fourth university gave me admission. I'm like, hey, oh, Jesus. So, that kind of a thing. So, and then I moved on to the next stage of applying for the scholarship and all of that. So, after a while, that same March, I got my admission from Canada here as well. I was like, hey, God, this kind of thing. So I applied for the scholarship, and this one wasn't a scholarship because it was just a postgraduate diploma. So I was like, God, I started praying, God, let your will be done. Let your will be done. Take me to the right place where you know that if I go, I will enjoy my stay. My family and I will be okay. Will not regret our coming. That kind of a thing. So we were just praying, my husband and I, my children, and all of that. My dear, in as much as that was the intention of the family, we want to travel and all of that. We weren't sure whether it will happen. You know why I'm saying? Because I've never traveled out before. I don't have anybody, even the people that I know abroad. Some of them, when they get there, when you call them, they don't answer and all of that. So there was this fear. Are you sure it can work? I was just pushing, like I was just trying all I could do, but deep down in my mind there was that doubt, like that kind of thing. But I was just trusting God for everything to go well. And so because of that, I didn't even attend to Canada own. I was like, I bet this scholarship own now, that's where my eye should be. And one of the things that made me to like start focusing more on Sweden was, as at the time we were applying, as at the time I applied for this program, you could move with your family. It was in January, I think January 20th, that they changed the whole rule. Like, it's only when you're doing masters that you can move your family. So the initial plan of moving together with your family has kind of changed. So the thing affected me. So what it means is that if I'm traveling, I'm going to be traveling alone. I'm not going to be traveling with my family. So the thing gave me somewhat feeling. So that was why my mind just did not go to Canada again. So I just focused on Sweden. So my mind was like, at least if I get the admission or if I succeed with the scholarship, my whole family can join me. I didn't even do anything. But what I did was just to accept the admission, but I didn't do any other thing for them. So it was when, I think that was in May, that I now received an email from Sweden that I did not succeed with the scholarship. That was when my eyes now went to Canada. And sometimes God has a way of doing it. There are so many ways God can reply you. God can give you response to whatever you're asking. So because the truth is that if I had gotten that scholarship, I wouldn't have been in Canada. I would have been in Sweden. So maybe God wanted me to be in Canada, and that's why I didn't get that. So it was when I got that mail that I didn't make it with the scholarship that I started thinking about this. Look at somebody that got admission since March. It was that mail. So by the time I could like gather myself and everything, then paid my school fees. When I applied was on the 30th of June. And my visa came on the 1st of August. So that means it was barely like 4 weeks. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and that was what my visa took, as in my application took before my visa came out, So, and even at that point in time when it came out, even as we applied and did every payment, it was like, will it come through? I wasn't prepared. I want to travel. I really want it. We're looking forward to it, but I don't know whether psychologically, I don't think I was prepared for it, particularly leaving my children. My dear, I was in the office on that very fateful 1st of August, and it was during that time, I think there was, is it protest or something like that that was going on in Abuja. I'm trying to remember what it is. And so my phone now beeped, and I discovered it's from IRCC, and I looked at it. It was my visa. I should go come and submit my passport and all of that. I was like, that was when it dawned on me. I never had any preparation. It was at that point in time that I had to go and buy my boxes, bought the traveling bag. No preparation whatsoever. That was when I now, the thing was like, because school, since it's that 1st of August, school is to resume 1st of September. So what it means is that I have like just 4 weeks to put my family in order. Hey, God, what will I do? And that was just it. So I had to start calling so many people. Please come and drop bag of rice. Come and drop this. We're just paying. Come and do this. come and do that, come and then people were just dropping. My husband and I went to market, we bought cow, like not full cow. We just bought the head, bought the, you know, that kind of thing. We make sure they butchered it, put it in order. When we got home, I almost cooked like 10 different types of soup. My freezer, I loaded it. I had 2 freezers in my house, and I have 1 refrigerator. It was as if I should cook for the whole year, for the 1 year that I'm going to be in the program, you know. And then I like making salad. If you have been watching my videos, you will know I make fruit salad a lot. My children like it. We look forward to it every day. That's the routine in the house. So I made plenty salad. I cooked. If you see us slaughtering goats, as in, if you come to my house at that point in time, you think maybe there was maybe one kind of occasion that was about going to happen, because we were cooking. Hey, Jesus Christ. We bought chicken, we slaughtered up to 10 chickens. I had to peel it, cut it, put it in the fridge, you know, that kind of a thing. Now, one of the reasons why I was doing that is because I needed to do it also to help my husband. So, do you know that this God can answer prayer? Just to tell you that this God was in support of it. Now, my husband and I that have not lived together for 12 years, that same March that I got admission in Sweden, that same March I got my admission to Canada, that same March, my husband was transferred down to where we are staying. As in. And you know where I was not looking forward to it. I was just thinking my husband was just coming for Easter celebration. So on that day, he just came back. And I said, please, we should help him, let him pack things into the room. And I discovered, Jesus. He started bringing out his luggage. Everything that we have where he's living. I was like, what is going on? He was like, I think it's your prayer now. You want me to come back. Has it not been your prayer? It has been my prayer. Now what's happening? At that point in time, I was thinking he has been sacked from his job. I was like, were you sacked? He said, no, God forbid, though. I have been transferred. I was like, hey! I was so happy. Even my children, everybody was shouting. I'm like, are you serious? So, you know this thing they say, even though it tarry, wait for it, it must surely come. 12 good years that we're making this prayer. In fact, I've already accepted it as my fate. Like this marriage, now marriage by correspondence will be doing till Jesus come. And God did it. And God did it in such a way because God knows that this woman is going out. She's traveling to Canada. So I need them to come together, blend, plan ahead and all of that. And that was just what really happened. So my husband came back in March, first week of March, and then started work. And that same March, that was when this admission came. So it was easy, even though we weren't too sure what we're doing. Like, is it really true? Can you travel? Are you traveling? Are you not traveling? But we're just planning ourselves. And that was just it. Imagine I had gotten this admission and everything had happened, and my husband didn't come back. As in, was not transferred. This journey wouldn't have been possible. Yeah, it's true, because where we are living, where I live, is where we built house. Like in the city where I live, we are kind of a lot more settled. So my husband he works there and build here for us and all of that. It would have been so difficult for us to like move the children to go and stay with him there. So this God is really faithful. So I don't want this video to be too long because it's already long. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe and share my videos, and also don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Until I meet you some other time, bye.